Paris, France, September 16, 2025. The French capital once again became the stage for Europe's political theatre as President Emmanuel Macron hosted António Costa, the newly appointed president of the European Council, at the Elysée Palace. The meeting symbolised not only ceremony, but also substance, coming at a time when the European Union faces a series of economic, geopolitical, and institutional challenges. Under the grey Parisian skies, cameras captured the precise choreography of a diplomatic reception. At 0005 on the official shot list, Emmanuel Macron appeared on the steps of the Elysée, his demeanour reflecting both formality and cordiality. As the Republican Guard stood in ceremonial posture, the black official car carrying António Costa approached. The vehicle door opened, and Costa, a seasoned politician and former Portuguese Prime Minister, stepped out with measured grace. The tracking shots from AFP TV captured Macron descending the steps, hand outstretched in welcome. Both men shook hands firmly, a gesture underscoring continuity of European unity at a moment of turbulence. For Macron, hosting Costa was not only about protocol. The French leader has long styled himself as a central figure in Europe's decision-making machinery, often pushing for deeper integration on issues ranging from defence to fiscal policy. Costa, who officially began his mandate as President of the European Council earlier this year, has emphasised dialogue, consensus, and pragmatism. At the heart of their meeting is the question of Europe's resilience in the face of internal and external pressures. Russia's ongoing war in Ukraine, the debates over enlargement, migration management, and the Green Deal's financial burden remain high on the Council's agenda. Costa's presence in Paris signalled the start of a series of consultations with EU leaders aimed at setting the tone for the upcoming European Council sessions. Macron, during his presidency, has positioned himself as a guardian of Europe's sovereignty in an era of multipolar competition. He has argued that Europe cannot rely indefinitely on the United States for its security, nor can it ignore the challenges posed by technological dependencies and climate change. Europe must learn to act as a power, not just as a market, if we want to secure our future, Macron declared earlier this year, a phrase that continues to echo across Brussels and European capitals. While not directly spoken during today's meeting, the sentiment framed the context of his encounter with Costa. Macron's insistence on European defence autonomy and strategic independence has often clashed with more cautious voices inside the Union. Yet his alliance with Costa may provide new momentum, as the Portuguese politician is known for his ability to bridge divides without alienating major actors. As the new president of the European Council, Costa inherits a role that demands tact and stamina. His mandate requires him to convene and chair the meetings of the 27 leaders, guiding discussions that often involve stark national differences. My priority is to ensure that the European Council remains the place of unity, not division, and that we always find common ground, however difficult the circumstances may be, António Costa said at his inaugural address in Brussels. His words highlighted the delicate balance he must strike between North and South, East and West, large and small member states. Costa's presence in Paris was his way of signalling early commitment to engaging personally with major EU leaders. Meeting Macron first at the symbolic Elysée Palace underscored the importance of Franco-Portuguese ties, but also highlighted France's enduring centrality in EU politics. The images distributed by AFP TV carried their own narrative. Macron and Costa, framed by the grandeur of the Élysée façade, exchanged pleasantries before entering the palace. Behind them, the Republican Guard stood with their traditional plumed helmets and sabres, adding ceremonial weight to what otherwise might have been a routine diplomatic encounter. At 0049 in the footage, the wide shot of the palace steps, the Republican Guards, and Costa's car captured the solemnity of state ritual. Such moments, while often overlooked, play a significant role in projecting unity and stability to both domestic and international audiences. This meeting comes at a moment when the European Union prepares for critical discussions in the autumn. Enlargement is back on the agenda, with Ukraine and several Western Balkan countries pressing for concrete accession timelines. At the same time, energy security, defence budgets, and the balance between fiscal discipline and investment in green technologies are sparking divisions. France, under Macron, has been vocal in supporting enlargement only alongside deep institutional reforms, a position likely to be tested in upcoming summits. Costa's role as mediator will be crucial in steering these debates without allowing them to fracture the Union. On migration, the issue remains explosive, particularly in Mediterranean states such as Italy, Greece, and Spain. Macron has pressed for stronger border protections and burden sharing, while Costa, with his Portuguese background, advocates for solutions grounded in solidarity and humanitarian principles. The Paris meeting, while short and largely ceremonial, set the tone for what both leaders hope will be constructive collaboration. Macron seeks partners who can support his vision of a stronger, more autonomous Europe, while Costa aims to prove his credentials as a unifier capable of guiding 27 often divergent nations. European observers note that this encounter is more than symbolism. It is the opening act in a series of engagements that will determine whether Europe can speak with one voice on pressing global issues. The day ended without public statements to the press, but the images and context spoke loudly. Macron and Costa, side by side at the Elysée, projected an image of European leadership committed to dialogue. While details of their private discussions remain under wraps, the ceremony itself was a message. Europe, despite its challenges, remains anchored in tradition, diplomacy, and the enduring search for unity. As Macron once insisted, Europe must learn to act as a power. And as Costa vowed at the start of his mandate, my priority is to ensure that the European Council remains the place of unity. Together, their meeting in Paris marked the convergence of vision and responsibility, a reminder that in politics, as in history, the stage and the actors matter just as much as the script.